This is Ryan from the Angel Scrolls. I'm going to do a quantum reversal tutorial on a previous video of Danny's, and it's going to be in two parts. So it's a quantum reversal of Danny Boy Reynolds. When I went over this again, I noticed that there were many parts that I must have been out of my river on, so you may notice quite a few corrections if you've seen the original version. This is a remarkable recording. In the beginning, I start talking about how long we have had Danny, and again I must apologize for my original thoughts were that we got him late in August, but later found out it was late in July. Also, when we took him to the vet last week, she said he may have been a few months older than we thought, so maybe he was already 3 or 4 months old when we got him. In the first part of this, you'll be able to hear Danny do some name dropping, almost like a psychic would do when channeling in on someone. The difference is he's channeling in on someone that comes here in the future. So if we look at, I'm going to zoom out on this a little bit, make it a bit smaller. As I've done in previous reversals like this, tutorials, I've broken it down into the forward and the reverse already. It's all in the exact order that Danny recorded this with, and all I've done is I've copied the first phrase or a phrase in the forward mode right after he finished part of the phrase, put it here, the copied version, and then reversed it. You'll see up here I just reversed it. So let's see what he says in this first part. So right there he mentions name right off the bat. You might be able to hear the last part. I can hear it, but I'm not going to put the last part of the name here. And normally I don't put the first part either, but in this case I thought I'd leave it up for you. I'll play the name one more time. Pretty cool when he says a real angel, and then the next part he'll say a real angel is watching, or is watching here. So I'll play that reversal one more time, the reverse part of that. So he says the angels are streaming that are connected to Danny. That was in the forward part. I'll play it right till here, which is the beginning of the reversal. Let's play that one more time, where he says a real angel is watching here. And he says, actually, the angels are streaming and connected to Danny. It's a miracle right from, and you'll see him say heaven when he gets to the forward part, or the reverse part. Okay, this is the reversal, where it starts off with compassion. He says, with compassion for humanity. And then he says, the angels can help you change your life if you have reason. And the sentence will continue on, but let's hear the reverse part of this. There's a bit of a lag there, so I'm going to play that back so you can see the words. So he says the angels can help you change your life if you have a reason. And let's see what, and I'll just move this forward so it's on the screen. Let's see what he says in the forward part of the next sentence. So he says, if you have reason to be part of it, says we'll have miracles. So Danny confirms and makes testament to the fact that the angels are watching in that part, and that they're streaming while he's connected to them, and he says it's a miracle. And the reason that the angels are here is because they have compassion for humanity. Let's hear what he says in the next part of this reverse. So again, he mentions the name. He says, you'll be happy, Karen. You will have belief. Let me play that one more time. And then he's going to go into the forward of the next part.
You can talk louder.
You got to listen over my talking there to be able to hear that.
You can talk louder.
Very cute when I say you can talk louder and he comes back with, I'm working on that. I'll play that one more time.
You can talk louder.
Let's move on. Here, there's a lot of dead space in here. Well, not really dead space, but where nothing happened. So I'm going to skip right over that and go to the reverse where I was talking and Danny spoke. Well, that's pretty clear of me saying there's a lot of prophecy throughout, and Danny says throughout this movie there's a lot of prophecy. I'll play that one more time. Let's go to the next forward part. He says we'll have many reviewing and hearing Danny and Victor. I'll play that one more time. So he says, in reverse, he says, Victor had a lot of good knowledge of prophecy that he gained for a religion in the future. Let me just play that one more time. So Danny believes that there'll be many in the future, not only reviewing the videos, but actually hearing the angels streaming as well. He talked about Victor and how he had good knowledge of prophecy. And later on, I'm going to be doing some tutorials on Victor's recordings as well. And Victor was equally as amazing as Danny. I'll also probably be doing some of Mailer's recordings as tutorials as well. So let's see the next part of the forward, what he says. So he says, we needed spirituality just in case some have a plan for this treasure. He says for this treasure. Let's play that one more time. Okay, this is the reverse of that. I'll start with that. So it's quite interesting what he's saying here. So as an animal, I can see why they're asking for help, especially budgies. They want to be treated fairly, and they want to be treated with love and respect, just like any sentient being would. And they're willing to give equal amount of care and respect for humanity. So let me just play that one more time. Okay, so let's do the next part of this forward. A little bit too far there. So they're going to help humanity, it says at the very end, equally. Sorry, I'll play this. We will try.
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's very interesting that he says that, and it pleases God, we want to work with you. So God said, everything here, let's play that one more time.
Yeah, I can hear you. This will be so I can hear you.
Let me stop it there for a minute, and I'll just move cursor here a bit so that we get the next thing on the screen. This is reverse.
You're in the house, you listen. You're in the guy.
That was kind of hard to hear, but he says, so God said, everything here is to learn how to listen, and you're hearing the guidance in the heavenly transcript, and heaven will champion some events in this religion.
You're in the guy.
Okay, the next forward part.
Good boy.
So in order to hear what God is saying to us spiritually, we have to be willing to listen. And if we can listen, God and the angels will give you guidance. So in that first part, he said, you've been sleeping when it comes to the house of God spiritually. Let's play that again.
It's okay, talk.
You can actually hear, I did this at the trailer last summer, and you can actually hear the crows in the background, which is kind of neat.
Tell me about Victor. Can you tell me about Victor?
I guess it was in the fall of last year that I did this. Very neat when I ask him, tell me about Victor, and he comes back with, he started it very clearly. Let's play that part where I say that.
Can you tell me about Victor?
So then he said, he started it. When he came on board, he believed your God's work was urgent. let's see what he says in reverse.
First it will be much. First it will be much.
So he says, it hurts to not talk when the meaning of life is affected. And I believe that that was really true with Victor. He talked extensively about why he was talking, why he, was the first actual budgie in the world to come out and start talking in the way that he did, and then Mailer and Danny followed him. And then he said he had an option. So it was Victor's option if he wanted to talk, and he chose to talk. And then he said, at first, we can't imagine how to evolve in life. Well, let's play that one more time.
First it will be much. First it will be much.
Let's continue on that reverse part. It's a long one.
It was.
That's really important. Danny and I said, I was talking in there as well, God gave us a spiritual mind with support from heaven, and heaven is here to help us. So I'm going to take a minute or two here just to talk about that a little bit. I've been hearing for many years now that, and so is a lot of people, that humanity has to change its ways so it can prevent more pain and suffering in the future. And the most wonderful thing is that God is willing to help us spiritually to do that. Danny also mentioned that we have a spiritual mind. I don't think anybody can dispute the fact that there's so much that we do not know about it. On the Angel Scrolls website, I did an analogy of how humanity can imitate things that are natural to us. For instance, if you take a computer and compare it to the soul. So the soul is eternal, and we've learned it has many lifetimes until it gets to a point where it can spiritually evolve enough to reach heaven and join God and the angels. If we look at the operating system of a computer, or the soul as a master computer, where everything is basically uploaded to in its memory, and each lifetime is a program that relies on the operating system to function properly. And we can start to see a little bit of a spiritual resemblance there. Programs are usually upgraded so that all the errors are taken out and a new program is made, which is usually better. It's also improved by useful data that can produce something better. And if we look at a life, when we die, our knowledge and experiences are learned in a lifetime, and our body is the vessel that carries the mind. And once the lifetime is over, that mind uploads the information that it had gained in that lifetime, the spiritual information that it gained, to the master computer or the soul. And if it has viruses, all the viruses are taken out, and an evolved life is created using what was learned from the previous programs. And once we've fully evolved to become part of the main operating system, we're capable of using any of the programs or lifetimes we have experienced in the past at will. So that means any past lifetime we had, we can instantly go there. And similar to the way a computer can, you can go to any program on a computer, to any part of it. And perhaps once we get into quantum computers, we'll be able to learn how to use that similar recipe to access the future. It's an interesting thought. but it's just an analogy, and I don't want people to think that we are machines like some scientists think. For there's a big difference, and that is we're spiritual beings, and that's why we have spirituality is to help separate us from something like that. And you can see that analogy in a little bit more detail on the Angel Scrolls website. Let's go to the next forward part here. I'm going to skip over this part and go right into what he's talking. Well, actually, I'm not going to, because I'm talking there as well.
This is your real first recording session, and you're only 2 months old. We've only had you for 2 months, and maybe you're about 4.
I thought that was so sweet when I started talking about that, and he said, I hope we be friends for a long time.
Months old, so that's pretty amazing.
That's very nice as well. You know, this, you can tell the love that's in Danny's heart when he says things like that, and it's pretty incredible. So he says, I hope we'll be friends for a long time. I'm here for you. And he says, we all exchange something freely for who we love. Let me play that one more time.
2 months old. We've only had you for 2 months, and maybe you're about 4 months old, so that's pretty amazing.
Okay, I'm going to move this here and go on to the next part. The reverse of what Danny and I were saying right here. So he says, in that first part, he says, something the earth will need, and we need your help to reverse some of Earth's evil. I think I talked about reversing evil in a previous video, and I talk about it quite a bit on the Angel Scrolls website in the transcriptions that I do. And you get a general idea that it is possible to reverse evil through the thoughts of people and how we think about certain things, and how wrong we can think about certain things, and how if we are thinking about those things, it can affect our actions. And if we start thinking the way God wants us to think, or the truth about these things, then it can change us spiritually. Let's continue on with that. Okay, I'm not going to continue on with that forward, but I'm going to tell you what he said. Or what I said. Okay, so if I go over that again, it says, something the earth will need, and we need your help to reverse some of Earth's evil. And then, it's not enough if what we're eating is blemished if we're dining with God. Then I won't be mourning a chance for a new life that sure flourishes if we get time over many lives given. So in other words, what I think that Danny and I are saying there is that if you have to go back, if you're reincarnated, it's a big, it's huge, because obviously you're going to come back in the future, and if what people have done in the past have created an earth that's not habitable, or an earth that is polluted, there's a lot of evil in it, there's suffering everywhere, then it's going to make our lives more difficult when we return, and we're going to be in a lot of pain and suffering. And one of the things we've learned is that it's very difficult to evolve spiritually when you're in pain and suffering, especially if there's a lot of evil if you're born into places where there's evil all around you, and you can't really help but getting absorbed into that evil. So we have to make sure in this lifetime that if we are reborn and reincarnated, that we do something in our life to not not only for our children to help them have a better future, but for ourselves, our own reincarnated selves, so that it's going to be easier for us as well. So I'm just going to continue on where he says in the forward part, we get time over many lives again.
Tell me what you want your name to be. Do you want it to be Danny? Or you want it to be another name? What'd you say?
Okay. the In the original video, I thought he was saying, what do you want, man? When I said, what do you want your name to be? I thought he was saying Danny Boy Reynolds, but he wasn't after I really listened to carefully. He, instead of that, he said, Reynolds has been a pinch off. It's the first time he called me by my last name like that, and it kind of threw me off a bit. And I think he's talking about the recording itself and just reminding people that there were a lot of misinterpretations in that the first time I did that. And like I said, I was out of my river, and probably didn't spend as much time on it as I should have. So let's hear that part just one more time.
What'd you say? Is there a special name that you want, Danny?
So this is the reverse of that.
You know, no, we in the chapters.
So that's interesting that I said that I'll remember chapter 2, and this was chapter 2. And then Danny says, that's right here. And here's the reason why.
Yes.
So I said, I'll remember chapter 2, and then I said there was problems that I had to correct. So it knew that before I did that, or they knew before I did that I'd have to correct these problems and that I'd be coming back to them. Play that again.
We must.
So I'm basically saying there that there were problems I had to correct, and there's a need knowing when I need help. And problem with doing this on my own is, and even with Linda helping me, that sometimes I could use another opinion and work out ways that I could improve it. If somebody emailed me or something and told me they weren't hearing what I heard, or they might have heard something different, then I could take another look at it, and maybe I could see if I could hear what they're hearing and correct it. Right now I'm just going on what I feel and what I hear, and sometimes other people will be able to pick up certain phrases that I might miss. And then the last part, he says, even in snowy weather, help needs timing. And I thought that was interesting. I've never heard that before. So, for example, if you're stuck in the cold and you're out there too long and you don't get any help, then you could freeze. But so the timing has to be perfect to get to you and help you before you freeze to death. And it also was interesting too that the day that I did this, I was doing the translation again. It was April 6th, and it was snowing outside here in Barrie, and usually doesn't snow in April here. So I think that's about it for this recording. I'll have uh, probably another one, the final part of this one up, and I think it will be a little bit shorter than this one was, probably by Sunday. And I might be working on some more as well. So have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you later.
You can talk louder. Heard loud talking. Yeah, I can hear you. This will be so I can hear you. We're the house. We're the guy. Good boy. It's okay, talk. Tell me about Victor. Can you tell me about Victor? If will be much. If will be much. It goes. This is your real first recording session, and you're only 2 months old. We've only had you for 2 months, and maybe you're about 4 months old. So that's pretty amazing. The mederstel's los nummer wat er je bent snel moest er voor dat helemaal veel los snel moest je learn en de chest can get ook surfire is it. Tell me what you want your name to be. Do you want it to be Danny? Or you want it to be another name? What'd you say? Is there a special name that you want, Danny? No, we and me and the chefs. Yes, you. Me and the name. No, we're. Deep now. We. Me and we. We must.